This is the Sean Hannity Show podcast.
Stay right here for our final news roundup and information overload in the final hour of the Sean Hannity Show.
Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon. 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 Pigs in a blanket.
King Noble, black supremacy, and I want to talk about the shooting of the white deputy sheriff in Houston, Texas. Reminds me of a Bob Marley song, I Shot the Sheriff. Very interesting. To me, what the Houston, Texas brutal execution before the public represents to me is its open season on killing whites and white police officers and probably killing cops, period. It's open season. And then you just had Straight Outta Compton come out with this fuck the police and this revisitation of this rebellious energy towards the police department and the police. So now you got some black militant or some angry black man walks up and executes a cracker cop in broad daylight. This is real. It's open season on killing white people and cops. It's unavoidable, inescapable. It's funny that now we'll move into a time where the predator will become the prey. Yes, they said there will be a race war and that we cannot win a race war. We can't win. We're outnumbered. They got weapons, they got drones, they got this, they got that. But I remind you of the buffaloes who outnumber the lion. They're bigger than lions, and they move in larger herds, but they're picked off by lions one by one, picking them off. Today, we live in a time where the white man will be picked off, and there's nothing he can do about it. His day is up. His time is up. We will witness more executions and killing of white people and cops than we ever had before. We see with the Houston, Texas shooting, and we see with the news reporting shooting in Virginia. It's about to go down. It's open season on killing white people and crackers. The Black Lives Matter movement wasn't enough. We tried to appeal to them to let them know that this type of thing would come, it would happen. They thought they were indestructible and invincible because they took advantage of the weakness of black people for too long with all this police brutality. And now they've got black men out there that just can't take it anymore. And they're willing to act out. And they're willing to get you when you least expect it. Come at you when you're not thinking about it. It's not safe no more to be white in America. Lurking behind any corner could be an angry black man ready to take your ass out. It's a reality. It's open season on killing whites and police. And they better make some serious changes, social changes at this point, because it ain't looking good. And they gonna get embarrassed because just when they tried to make themselves look invincible and untouchable and we got this under control, clearly there's some black people out here that's about to show you that you might not just have it like that.
The predator will become the prey. It's not safe anymore to be white in America. It's open season on killing whites and police officers. The Black Lives Matter movement, which has been endorsed by the Democratic National Committee on Friday. And this, by the way, was a member of the Black Lives Matter group. Here to discuss, here to debate why the Democratic Party would align themselves and put their seal of approval on such a group. They're also the group that was chanting, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. We have the Reverend Charles Christian Adams of Hartford Memorial Baptist Church, the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, president, founder of the group Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. Thank you both for being with us. We had Lieutenant Charles Joseph Glenowiz, who marks the fourth incident in 9 days across the U.S. where a law enforcement officer now has been killed in the line of duty. And I guess my main question is, Reverend Charles Christian Adams, why would the Democratic Party on Friday put out their support for this organization?
They may have put out their support for the idea that all life is valuable, all life is sacred, and that some of the members of the Black Lives group have said some things that resonate with them. But they did not, that I know of, support any silliness like this young man was sharing. This is not a part of the platform that they were supporting. And he does not represent, from what I've heard, what the Black Lives Matter groups or movement stands for at all, not even close.
Well, Sean, it's the same hatred as what the Black Lives Matter group have been putting out there, except that when you don't deal with anger and hatred such as we see in the Black Lives group, it tends to get worse each generation. And so the reason that the Democratic Party has endorsed the Black Lives Matter group is because they are indebted to them. If they dare not to support Black Lives Matter, they are concerned that Black Americans will not vote for them. The good thing is most Black Americans, 60% of them, are not in support of in support of Black Lives Matter, which is a good thing. But the Democrats have no choice at this point but to endorse these people because we have an election coming up. And I do want to say that the Black Lives Matter people should not be a surprise. Or in the radio, the guy that you just played on the radio show there talking about killing the cops should not be a surprise for us. We've been saying for the last 25 years that these black children are raised up with one parent in the home, so they're raised up with anger. And when they go out into the community, they hear the so-called civil rights leaders and others promoting racism, claiming that white cops are against blacks and that white people are against blacks, and no one has really disputed that in a big way. And Jackson and others are supported by the media. And so these people, these angry people now believe that lie. And so that's why they're doing the killing. I remember when they started the knockout games, when black people were going around knocking out white folks. That wasn't a big deal in the media. It wasn't national media, national news as it should have been. And now we are at this point where these people openly telling you that they're going to kill the cops and kill white people.
You know, there's a story that came out of Miami, which really should break everybody's heart. Head of an Arby's restaurant chain apologized to the, I think it's called the Pembroke Pines Police Department. An employee at a local restaurant wouldn't serve a uniformed officer.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back, but, you know, I go to my local pizza place, Mario's, where I live, and I go in the pizza place, and the cops are there every once in a while. I try and buy them lunch. I try and say thank you for putting your life at risk for everybody. Now, they usually don't want to take it, but I've been able to sneak it in a few times. But, I mean, you know, I'm like, you got to be kidding me that this is how we treat. Now, I want to ask you, Reverend Charles Christian Adams, do Black lives matter?
Absolutely.
Of course they do.
Absolutely.
Of course they do. Do white
lives matter.
And white lives
all
matter.
Human life matters.
And
all human life is
and police lives matter, and all lives matter. That's a fair statement, right?
Absolutely.
And we're all God's children. I think we're all Christians here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I have this. Then I want to ask you this. Governor O'Malley made the statement that Black lives matter, white lives matter, all lives matter. I want you to listen to the crowd boo.
Some of the most important things that we accomplish in life, requires persistence. We did not repeal the death penalty in Maryland the first time we tried or the second time, but we repealed it the third time we tried. Every life matters. And that is why this issue is so important. Black lives matter, white lives matter, all lives matter. Black lives matter, white lives matter, all lives matter.
All right, now do you notice that when he said every life matters, there's a scattering of boos, and then he says black lives matter, white lives matter, and then the crowd boos. This is a democratic event. Why would people boo? Now, it gets worse. Then the governor apologized for saying black lives matter, white lives matter, all lives matter, Reverend. What the hell is wrong with him and the party?
Well, once again, I think that we're incorrectly labeling.
Labeling what? Did you not hear the? Did you hear the boos? Wait a minute.
Democratic reaction.
Did you? He's a Democratic candidate on the campaign trail. Did you not hear those boos?
I mean, I can go into the psychology.
I'll play it again.
You can play it again, but this is what I'm saying. I think we've heard it. We got the picture, but the issue is, I think some people feel like you may not be taking the issues that have led to this kind of protest seriously.
Well, you want to talk about, wait a minute, is there any justification, an America that has righted wrongs and corrected injustices, that fought a civil war in part over the issue of black and white America fighting and repealing the evil and the repugnant practice of slavery, a civil rights movement that led to the Voting Rights Act and the and all these other actions that we have taken, the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act. Republicans were needed for Lyndon Johnson to pass that bill because Democrats wouldn't vote for it. So a Democratic candidate for president says Black Lives Matter, and then he says white lives matter, and people boo.
And it's hard to tell within that sound bite.
Want me to play it again? Let me play it because it's not that hard.
Some of the most important things that we accomplish in life, requires persistence. We did not repeal the death penalty in Maryland the first time we tried or the second time, but we repealed it the third time we tried. Every life matters, and that is why this issue is so important.
Some boos.
Black lives matter, white lives matter, all lives matter.
White lives matter. What did you hear there, Reverend? I heard booze. I heard booze.
Let me get this out.
What did you hear?
Let me get this out. First of all, we don't know what the broader context, the entirety
of good grief. Reverend,
they have been also part of the problem now. And this is what I have of a problem with what Reverend Peterson was saying. The civil rights movement was primarily led by religious people. The traditional civil rights movement. This movement that we see, is not so much a spiritual movement. It is a secular movement.
Whereas movement is a spiritual.
You really can't directly compare. And I'm taking out your comments about the Voting Rights Act and different things.
Reverend, let me say that I think you would agree with me. It is spiritual in that it's evil because Black Lives Matter is an evil group. And I also blame Louis Farrakhan for it, Sean, and the Reverend, I'm sure you would agree with this. Louis Farrakhan said in a Baptist church down in Florida that he's looking for 10,000 fearless men to rise up and kill those who kill us. And when you have a person like Louis Farrakhan who has the type of influence that he has over the hearts and minds of angry black men and women who have not been raised by two parents, he's able to get them and influence them to do whatever he wants. And I believe that's one reason that we're starting to see more and more of these black Americans killing police officers because Louis Farrakhan has called for this. And I think Louis Farrakhan needs to be arrested because if he had been a white man and called for 10,000 fearless white men to rise up and kill those who kill us, it would be national news. The white speaker would have been arrested because we all would have known that that was wrong. But just as the Black Lives Matter interfered with the speaker, they should have thrown those people out, but they are afraid to be called racist. And so they allow this stuff to happen. And Louis Farrakhan, what he said to those blacks was a terrorist threat upon white Americans. And long story short, Barack Obama has created an environment by supporting the thugs, Michael Brown and other thugs who were killed by cops, and sending representatives to the funeral of thugs and stating that today's racism is a reminder of Jim Crow, something like Jim Crow. So he's created an environment where the police officers have been rendered helpless in these situations now. And so the lawless are coming out because they are not controlled by the law of their hearts. We need a strong police force to control them by the law of the land. But now that Obama has weakened the law of the land, the lawless people are going wild because they have nothing to stop them. And that's why we're seeing the killing of the cops and the attacks upon white Americans all over this country. And unless the president speak up about this and then insist that police officers get strong and arrest these folks and put them over in Guantanamo Bay or somewhere since Obama sent the Taliban back home, this summer, the rest of this year and next year is going to be hell. These days are going to look like a holiday.
Sean.
It's only going to get worse.
Reverend,
I got to run because we're just out of time. Reverend, I'm going to give you one last chance to condemn that booing. Will you condemn that before we go?
We have to get to the reason why the booing took place.
Reverend,
it's not so easy.
Reverend, isn't it wrong what they did?
Because they're evil. Because you know and I know.
Isn't it wrong to boo? Wasn't that wrong to boo, Reverend?
Clinton supported. Hillary Clinton said
that was wrong.
That what they're doing does not change.
Listen, we're Christians. We're all children of God. That's it. He breathes life into every soul.